All right, welcome to the Frenemies Fantasy Football Podcast. We call this Welcome Captain Morgan. This is a Captain Morgan episode. We are recording in front of a live studio audience. We got two people behind the camera, a.k.a. Morgan's friends that are with him until they leave to go line dancing after this episode. So they're kind of here by default, but we thank you for being here. We feel so popular, so very popular. Morgan, we've got you in taking out Ryan. All right, you basically said you're fired.
Sure. I'm all the way from Miami.
All the way from Miami. Not for Phil's wedding, just to say, Ryan, I'm going to show you how it's done.
Exactly.
And look at the manlier man that's in the seat right now. Sean, what do you got? What do we have here first on the docket to talk about fantasy-wise?
Just some big news here. Le'Veon possibly getting traded.
We should key like breaking music. Song.
Yeah, we don't have Ryan here to talk about it, but he's pretty psyched about Le'Veon possibly getting traded. You think it's going to happen?
I don't think so unless people start getting really desperate. My favorite location and only favorite via fantasy because I'm a Viking fan, but I think the Green Bay Packers could go for him as it's something, hey, if we're running back away, if they're a little stable of running backs can't do it, they might trade. The great thing about the Steelers is that they can just sit there until, week 10?
Yeah.
And wait for the best offer to come.
It's true.
So that's the one thing I'm kind of like, I don't know if they're going to trade him because they'll wait until someone blows their socks off. And Garoppolo less 49ers was our favorite spot for him, but I don't think now with Garoppolo out, they can do a one-year rental. Where do you think he's going?
I mean, I just would go off of what's been said so far. The Jets is definitely high up there. I could see the Raiders making a run for him.
Yeah, the Raiders will trade anything away.
They have the capital to do so.
Yeah, they got the capital to do so now,
thinking,
and that could be a good one. And to our Steeler fans that are watching in our league, I mean, it's tough, but James Conner's making it feel pretty good right now where Le'Veon Bell's not in action. So let's go over our overall thoughts of Week 3 here. Sean, what were you really thinking? I see it blasting in all caps here on the script. What is it?
Kickers suck. I hate kickers. I've always hated kickers.
Sean has always hated kickers.
Ryan's got some voodoo over there. He just puts a spell on his opponent's kickers, and they just don't play that week. So I had Dan Bailey, and he got me 0 points, and I lost by 5.
Attempt a field goal.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching the Thursday night game right now, and he dings one off the right upright. It went in, but I'm like...
He's not on my team anymore.
Wow. Morgan, do you think kickers should be on our fantasy lineups, or are you one of those guys that
I think they should. It's just classic.
Get off.
It's how it is. That's how we've always played. It's like it's just a little extra bonus. It's always fun. I've always enjoyed it.
We stick with tradition in this house.
It's completely
yes. My big overall thought was the single-digit Patriots. We were watching that game at Dirty Buffalo, and we saw the Detroit Lions kind of completely make the Patriots look like a JJV squad, like a middle school team. I'm looking at single digits fantasy-wise, and for you guys, viewers who don't know, or even our own guys, we're in a half-point PPR with like 4 points per touchdown type thing for a quarterback, and Tom Brady had 7.5 points.
Oh, my gosh.
Hogan, 4.6. Burkhead, 3.6. That was your guy. Sony Michel, 5.4. Gronk, 7.1. The only one in double digits of any relevancy was James White with 12 points. 12.6. I mean, you don't usually trust a receiver with the Patriots, but having Brady under 10 points was kind of ridiculous. In a matchup, I thought he can go for close to 20.
Yeah, it didn't seem like a bad matchup with Detroit there.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, moving on to our next segment, we got Freakout. Freak out! Like that little song there. I'm going to try to get better and better with that. We might have to get a soundboard to go with that. Maybe Morgan should have done it here, but...
he's got some golden pipes over there.
All right, so in our Freakout session, Sean, what did you have?
All right, so I gotta talk to these people that are in this terrible situation where you're starting off really bad, because that's where I am. I was hyped up for my team. I think Ryan picked me as the number 1 in the league.
A voodoo again.
Yeah.
He's doing something, man.
Some kind of spell.
Yeah.
Don't ever let Ryan say anything about your team.
Yes.
I've only won 1 game out of the 3. It's not going well. But I'm here to say don't freak out. Like, this is the time to hunker down, pick up the waiver wire, but don't just trade everyone away. You got to stick. Like I got Keenan Allen. He's been awful the last 2 weeks, but you just got to stick with him. Otherwise, you're just going to get, horrible trade offers for him. So
that's true.
That's my freak out is don't freak out. You can go 0-4 and still make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's extremely important to trust what you've done. And maybe 5-6, you're like, okay, this is a reality. I might need to do some moves, but ride it out because some trades can be lopsided early on. My freak out moment kind of goes off of you here. Yeah. Kenny and Drake. You're a Miami guy, and you got him as a lead back, probably an RB2 in your lineup.
Yeah, fourth round pick.
Is he a lead back? I mean, Gore, good old Frank Gore. I think, right after he retires, he goes into an assistant living because that's how long he's been playing in the NFL. But he's taking so many touches.
Ageless wonder, man.
Yeah, like when you look back at the box score, you're seeing more touches with him. He's outgaining Drake. And I'm like, this just doesn't make any sense. I don't know if it's game plan. You watch more Miami games.
It was a weird game. I don't really understand why they weren't able to run against the Raiders. That's really the biggest issue. Mm-hmm. Drake did get quite a bit of work, and they were up in the game, so you figured they'd be running the ball more. But they just kept – they also did a lot of those reverses, using wide receivers as running back. So I'm hopeful. I'm giving him this week. So if he doesn't pull it out against the Patriots here, then it might be time to move on. Somebody like Kerryon Johnson. But
it's true. Well, talking about freaking out, I'm freaking out sitting in front of Captain Morgan here at the table, and so excited that he came only for this reason from Miami for this podcast, not for you, Phil.
And not for you, Phil.
Come up here. So let's do a little one-on-one or two or whatever. We got you interviewing going.
2-on-1.
I don't know if that even sounds correct.
You're pretty close.
Yeah. Let's talk about what you're doing down there in Miami, man. You living life down there. I usually see on your Snapchat, the only thing I see from you is going down to the club to line dance.
Sure. It's not just line dance, though.
Yeah.
I'm just on the scene.
You're on the scene.
It's been good. It's been really good.
Yeah.
Definitely interesting. I've only become stronger and more powerful, just so you guys know, in the fantasy world. These 3 weeks are
as
fluke.
He sits at
Get
10.
ready.
Yeah.
Things are about to change. I've been getting crazy on the waiver wire, so just be on ready.
Let's talk about the craziness. You traded.
Oh my God! That's already this is the highlight of the week.
The man that never trades.
It's been 5 years and you've never committed a trade.
I've never.
Who did you trade with?
I traded with Tim, which he's a Steelers fan. I don't even know.
Man,
things are changing.
You offered the trade.
Yeah,
I did.
What was the trade?
It was a late night thing. Like I just sent him a text. Like,
are you up?
Like, yeah,
you still up, boo?
It was a really short text. Like, hey, this is the trade. I just threw it out there. I got a response in the morning. He didn't even respond to me in the night. That's the worst. Like, if you send a text late at night, and you'll get a response to the morning.
I know, right?
It's over.
It's not like you're a married man with a little kid, right? Yeah. But yeah, what was the player trade?
So it was Matt Ryan. So I traded Brandon Cooks for Matt Ryan. I'm sure we'll figure out this week if it was worth it or not.
You had 2 Rams receivers. So
I did have 2 Rams. I had to get rid of one
there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You believe in the Ryan, so
yes.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I had him before. It's sad. I had him before and I dropped him. It just shows you keep up. Like if you believe in your player, don't drop him.
Yeah. Yes. Personal experience here.
It's a good segue there because the shoulda, coulda, woulda this week for the bench player that should have been started. So originally, Chris had me in here. I think for who did you have me?
Somebody over your bench over Drake. I was trying to think of the running back over there. Yeah.
Oh, Kerryon Johnson or Kerryon Johnson.
Kerryon Johnson over
So. But really, the biggest one was Matt Ryan. I almost picked him up off the waiver wire. He was. I had him and Fitzmagic in there, and could have had a 40-point week out of him. Yeah. Instead, went with Fitzpatrick. Not the best decision.
Yeah, regret when you're looking at the wire. Like
I still think Fitzmagic, like 25 points.
He's gone. He's not on my team anymore.
Is not bad when you ended at halftime with 3 points, which I thought you were done.
Yeah,
I can't believe you came back so close. Like I was
so close.
Gotta give it.
But Sean just is like, if it's not working out, you're done. So
gotta give a shout out to Bleacher Report. If you ever watched the Gridiron Heights videos, like those 2-3 minute videos, you look on Facebook or any of the social media, just look in Bleacher Report and then Gridiron Heights, and they showed one with Fitzmagic And it was kind of like a spoof, like he was doing an Ocean's 11 thing. Like he was stealing starting jobs and all these con guys. Had Andy Dalton's like, you guys just do just enough to get in the playoffs and lose the wild card game. And Sam Bradford's like, yeah, I do well enough for the big contract, and then I let the rookie take right over. They were just like throwing guys in there. Tannehill was in there for some reason going in. So it was funny to talk about middle line quarterbacks like Fitzmagic. But let's go look at this waiver wire recap. We've got a giant spender.
Yeah, it was between
big spend.
You two there, Tim and Morgan.
Tim and I were talking.
Were you talking about this prior?
Price up. There was like a big drop after that. Like, $126 from a man Tim James to pick up Calvin Ridley, and right behind him, Morgan himself at $105. Like
105.
you guys wanted.
What was the allure for Mr. Ridley?
I think he just had 37 points the week before, so it's like
that'll do it.
you're like, I have to pick him
3
up.
touchdowns.
And I told Tim like I was gonna pick him up, like he shouldn't even try. And then he took that. He outspended me.
What you did was kind of like in those little those auction things.
Yeah,
Driving up the price.
You just drive up the
Drove him
price.
up.
Yeah, that's right, Tim. You keep spending, I'm gonna get in your head. I mean,
if I didn't send that text, he probably would have put like $40.
yeah,
on.
That's true. You might
I
have
put
doomed
like
yourself.
$11. $11. I was in third place for him.
I put 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the people put 0. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
What do you think?
37 points.
Well, yeah, I mean, a wide receiver 2 behind there, and Julio. They get Devontae Freeman, which helps you out when he gets back in there. Tevin Coleman's still in there, so the ball gets spread around a lot. And Calvin Ridley is going to be, I think, a great option. But does he start now over Sanu? Does he take some snaps over? Is Julio going to be that quiet? I mean, you can use the Vikings as a thing. They got 2. Top tier wide receivers in fantasy, so it could happen.
Yeah,
and he's a big play. He did blow up.
And then Morgan didn't get Ridley, but he got Carson.
I did
got him over me.
Yeah.
I think I put him in there too. Yeah,
I don't know how that's gonna be, but I trust him. We'll see.
Yeah, it looks like they gave him the workload. So
I needed a running back.
Not a bad decision.
I gotta say, Baltimore Birds there. Great pickup with Tyler Boyd with Cincinnati.
Yeah, that was a good pickup.
Even at the running back, the wide receiver 2 spot behind AJ Green, he was getting some major catches. So he's very big into the offense there, especially with Tyler Eifert taking a step back. Even though he's healthy, he's not the same target. So someone's got to be helping. Being open off those double teams on AJ Green.
Definitely.
So that was a good pickup.
I put quite a bit in this one. I had 9 waiver claims.
Yeah, I see the commish on a lot of things.
I'm just down the whole thing.
All the way down.
I was not going to, I was going to get someone. That was the plan.
You put a lot of receivers up there.
I just kind of figured I would take with the leftovers and put $0 bids on a bunch of them, whoever didn't get picked up.
Baker Mayfield out there, man of the people.
He
$45 on that. The Turtles went after him too.
I was surprised at that one. I didn't think Baker Mayfield would be in such demand.
Yeah, who goes for a Cleveland Browns quarterback?
Ryan always has a special strategy, though. You never really know what Ryan's going to do.
I don't think he really knows what the end game is in his strategy either. I can say that because he's not here.
Yeah.
But watch him walk through the door right now. But all right, let's move on to the game of the week. Looking back at week 3, I'll speak about this because you were involved in this one. Ryan versus Sean.
It's too close to me.
Look back at that score, man. It was fun to watch all the way through. 94.4 points for Ryan, and Sean had 89 points, but it really went all the way down to the wire. And it was back and forth there. You look at maybe Ryan couldn't do as well because Kirk Cousins had a horrible game against Buffalo.
Negative until the very end there.
Yeah, but he did great with Melvin Gordon and Jarvis Landry. John Brown scored enough for him. And you were like hit and miss. Your things like tic-tac-toe if you go down your line.
Yeah.
Double-digit single, double-digit single, double-digit single, double-digit 0 from Dan Bailey.
Freaking Dan
when you were
Bailey.
talking about losing by basically 5 points.
Yep. Any other kicker?
Any other kicker. Ryan Suckup over Ryan's team got 8 points.
Yeah. Morgan got to see it firsthand there. All 3 of us, me, Tim, and Morgan watched the game here.
Yeah.
And he got to see me and Ryan going back and forth, saying the other one's going to
was
win.
the trash talking like
it was
serious?
wild.
Yeah.
It was wild, yeah.
Did you have to sit between them?
They're both very civilized people, so you don't really know, but you can feel the wildness.
You said Ryan and civilized in the same sentence.
When they're watching football, yeah.
Oh, when he's watching football.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ryan in real life is something fierce. You don't really know what's going to happen. He just walks in a room and he says things, and you're like, I did not know you were going to say that.
All right, so let's call our upsets for this upcoming week. I got Morgan over David. It's still
looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp is going off right now. When I last looked, he had 26 points, and we're not even at halftime.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Morgan. The funny story here, he said, I accidentally left Kupp in my lineup. Like, it wasn't even
on purpose.
It's like,
just fate right there.
Like, so I picked Morgan over David. I didn't go last week. I picked you, Sean, over Ryan. So I'm 1 for 1 on my calls. We'll see how we do this week. Sean, who do you have?
So I'm 2-0, and I need everything I can do to beat you. So I'm going to call myself as the upset.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going to call my shot and say this week I'm doing it. I'm getting the win.
Oh, shoot.
Taking down the giant over
Got
here.
to. Did you
First
guys see
place.
my 2 rings? There we go. I had to start implementing this a little bit more. And then my original fantasy name, I felt like I had to wear it for Phil, being Phil's mentor.
Can't have it on your team name. So
No, I
might as well
can't.
put it on
But
your
you know what I
chest.
did with Ryan's brother, better looking brother. Beckus is
Shout out to Ben.
Ben was the DJ at Phil's wedding, and we were introducing the bridal party and all that. And I said, can you introduce me? Don't say Chris, don't say Sean, say Phil's mentor. He's like, all right, and Ben's all smiling and stuff. And he says it. That's all it says. And Phil's mentor. And as I'm going, David's cracking up behind me, and Phil standing and says, no. And everyone's looking at me like, this is Phil's mentor. And I'm like cutting a rug, trying to dance my way in. And there I was known as Phil's mentor.
Yep.
So that was a fun part there. Okay, that was a little off topic here. All right, so really quickly, we have this thing called mean tweets. Or we call it encouraging tweets, kind of steal it from the late night stuff. But me and Ryan and I wanted to reach out to the league and find out if anyone wanted to get some encouraging words to the 9th place commish. All right, so we got 2
Morgan
good
can
ones.
take this too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
9 and 10, we're buddies, man.
There we go. Well, one of them actually calls that one. So let's go with the first one's from Andy. He says, pretend Sean's fantasy team is yours. Then maybe you'll see how hard it is to hold back tears and a fake smile. Support Sean through this difficult time. Hashtag encouragement. Then our last one here, David Kalana, the Reverend himself, says, here's what I got for Sean. Thank God for Morgan. Hashtag encouragement. Morgan's sitting in 10th place. We got Sean at 9th. So he's
the only thing holding me up right now.
I'm above Morgan. It's the only thing you can think of. So we reached out to the league. Those were the 2 guys. Probably reached back to Ryan with some good ones there. But there's some encouraging
really
words. We're cheering you on.
If I don't win soon here, I don't feel like I can't sit here.
Outside,
I can't do this podcast if I'm...
It's okay. We might have a vote behind closed doors without you in there. But
It's going to be just you, Chris. Ryan's already gone.
If you pay us enough,
Chris
we might
Rock
keep you in
podcast.
there. Yeah, Chris Schoenrock's podcast. Here we go. But yeah, so that was the encouraging tweet segment that we wanted. We might not do that very often. Hopefully you don't find yourself there being encouraged.
Yeah.
But always thank God for Morgan.
We were talking earlier, and Sean's like, I can't believe I'm right above you.
It's funny.
And you're like, thank God for Morgan.
Thank God for Morgan.
I can't believe I'm in 9th place.
Well, remember Morgan and Sean, the champs, I went from first to worst, or worst to first.
Yeah.
And Turtles did the same thing, so it could be the fortune you need.
Could be our year.
All right.
Sean, you or I.
We got to go tank the
Got it.
season.
Let's do it. Me or you. Super Bowl right here.
Let's do it. Get
All right.
ready, guys.
So, fantasy meets reality is our next segment here.
This is a David.
This is a David
Calling
Kalana calling card here. So, what do you care more about, your fantasy team or your real team that you root for?
Let's hear you, Morgan, first. What
you-
goes on Sundays for you?
I'm a fan of the Cardinals. I will admit it. This year is a very bad
tough year
year
to
for
do
us. I don't
Yeah.
know why we picked up Sam Bradford. I'll say it from the beginning. I looked at it and thought it was a joke. Like, why would we pick up Sam Bradford? He's the most injury-prone quarterback in the league, but we picked him up. Just ridiculous choice. But, yeah, you see what happens. And right now, I want my fantasy team to do well.
So basically, there's no way they're
This
doing
is a
well.
rebuilding year for the Cardinals. I tell people that a lot. And, yeah, I'd really like my fantasy team to do better.
Do you purposely not pick up, Seahawks or...
Yeah, rival teams.
I mean,
Players.
as you guys can tell, I don't really care right now. I mean, I still don't like the Steelers. Yeah,
That's
Tim, I
true.
still don't like Steelers. But
No Steelers on this team.
No Steelers.
I mean,
Hate
I
the
did-
Steelers more than the Seahawks?
They're about even.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
strong
The
stuff.
Steelers are unifiedly hated or unified.
It's very true. Yeah.
Loved. So that's going in.
What about you, Chris?
Me, I'm all about my team, my Vikings team, over my fantasy. Even though I make sure my lineups are great, but man, you can tell I accidentally put 3 Vikings. And it was on accident, Ryan, on my fantasy squad. I actually got 4.
I saw that tonight, and I was like, this man really relies on the Vikings.
Yeah,
like, it's do or die.
When the points lined up correctly, and I was like, I got to get them. I got them. But it does help I was a root for my Vikings. But I'm always about the Vikings over there. Right before I came in, seeing Todd Gurley, my running back, score a touchdown on my Vikings. I'm like, yeah. Then Daniel texted me. He's like, hey, that's Chris's girl, G-U-R-L. And I was like, yeah, I don't know how to cheer or cry about that. It's like, darn it, this is going to be a high-scoring game.
Hurts a little less, though, right?
Yeah, but you're always like, okay, I want the W, but then Gurley still get 30 points for me. But don't be so good that your team wins.
Yeah, that's what it does. It definitely warps your perception. That's what happens with me all the time.
Yeah,
I definitely am Dolphins first all the way. Like,
Yeah.
I'll take a Dolphin win any day over my fantasy team. But it's been hard. It's hard when that's the one you can control. That's what makes it worse in fantasy is you're the one who's making the moves and you're managing the team. With the Dolphins, I got no control over what happens. So
Yeah.
but yeah, as far as like how I draft and stuff, I do try not to have Patriots on my team because it's just too much of a conflict. I had Gronk, I traded him away, I couldn't deal with it anymore.
Right.
And then also like having Drake. Oh my gosh, it's super painful because like it hurts worse. Luckily the Dolphins have been good, so it's not been an issue. But
Right.
like I'm sitting there watching and I'm just like, yes, you got a first down, Gore, but I really wish that was Drake.
Yeah, it's like, yay, Miami, my player. I'm same thing with like,
So-
don't give it a Diggs, give it a Thielen.
When it's a bad day, like when the Dolphins lose and your fantasy team loses, it's real bad.
Oof, it's really rough. That is really rough.
That's
I've been
why
going through
I
that.
usually I don't know. I can't seem to quit those running backs. I've always had a Dolphin running back. I had Lamar
Yeah.
Miller, then I had Jai, and now I got Drake. But
Yeah, you used to love
learn my
Lamar
lesson
Miller.
here. I need to learn my lesson.
Used to be all about him.
Yeah,
Yep.
that and Devontae Parker, but he never suits up, it seems like, from Miami. Yeah. You're always like, hold on that hope, and they'll have one good game.
Yep.
But that's about it.
All right, and then we're gonna do a little segment here with Tim. We pre-recorded him. He gave us our injury update. So here's Tim.
Go, Tim.
All right, guys, welcome in. We got Tim James here with us in studio today. He's going to give us a little injury report for what happened in week 4 here. Why don't you tell them a little bit about your background here?
Yeah, so I studied athletic training at JMU. Go Dukes, I guess. I'm not really big into the sports there. But, I graduated from JMU athletic training, came down to Norfolk, worked for CHKD for a couple years as an athletic trainer in their sports med department. Then I started grad school pursuing my doctorate of physical therapy. Graduate in May, looking to do sports medicine afterwards as well. So we'll see how that goes.
Nice. So we got a real expert here, actually, in our league. So, all right. So let's get right into it here. AJ Green for Daniel there. What happened there?
So AJ Green went down with a groin strain. Him and his teammates were pretty optimistic that he could make it back for that game. Obviously, that didn't materialize. He's optimistic he'll play this weekend, but groin strains are always tough. They tend to limit some movement. He needs to be able to do quick shifts and change in direction, which can be tough for a receiver with a groin strain. So kind of with any other strain like hamstrings, it's going to be kind of self-limited, whether or not he can play through some pain and whether or not he's going to re-injure himself if he chooses to play through pain. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him have limited snaps throughout the week. Maybe he won't practice until Saturday, and then he may end up as a game-time decision, unfortunately. So keep an eye on that one.
Okay. And then Evan Ingram for me kind of hurt my team, went out early in the game.
Yeah, so he went down with an MCL sprain. They did an MRI with this, found it was not a grade 3, so he will make it back this season. It's just a matter of how long you want to hold on to him. They didn't really list the severity. They kind of left that out. So grade 1 or 2 can be out for as little as 2 weeks, up to 6. Just kind of depends on when he gets comfortable playing with a brace.
All right. And then next we had Jimmy Garoppolo, the big one. Quarterback went down. Maybe not as important for him.
Yeah, so
but
the
for his-
ramifications on this one kind of play in for some other people, myself included. Pierre Garçon didn't look good from the get-go this year, so I'm not really sure if his status changes much. Marquise Goodwin, I would imagine, goes down a little bit. I always kind of viewed him as a boomer bust kind of fella, if he broke a deep one or not. So I think he'll maybe stay close to the same, maybe a little bit of a downgrade just with Bethard throwing the ball. The guy that I personally think, I'm not trying to sell up some fantasy stock here, but Matt Breida I think looks pretty good. I think he gets a slight uptick. I think they're going to be playing from behind quite a bit, and then he is obviously the passing back. So
Yep. And then Ajayi, is he coming back next week?
So he's looking more and more probable right direction. So he did get some practice in this week. So I think he'll try to get some reps in early in the week, maybe even a little bit later, and then they'll see how he looks on Sunday, like kind of like they did this last week, and probably do that as a game time decision.
Okay. And then Jeffrey for Ryan there.
So yeah, his reps are looking like they keep going up in practice, which means he's coming around.
He's not contact yet, though, right?
As far as I know, he's not.
Okay.
So they've been doing just quick drills with him. I think we could see him out for this week and maybe one more. Depends on how badly they want to get him back, but they obviously want to make sure that he's healthy, he's ready, he's not going to re-injure himself. And
Yeah, they paid him all that money.
Yeah, they want to keep him out there. So.
All right, and then last, the two hamstring brothers there.
Yeah,
Cook
so
and
Dalvin
Fournette.
Cook, well, I guess both these guys actually missed the game. I'm not really surprised. They were both kind of short week. Fournette was trying to do it in 2 weeks, which, is the earliest you would ever see anybody coming back. And this is coming from the guy who said he could play the following week. So
Yeah.
I think this is just as much the team holding him back as him saying that he's ready. So, again, they'll probably play this throughout the week, low reps at practice, and see how he looks on Sunday.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, Tim.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Tim, for that expertise, perspective. I can't think of the word on those guys there. If they're on your lineup, I would heed Tim's words very wisely.
He's a smart man.
You sit or start. And, yeah, he's got one of my guys. I'm like, oh, he's playing right now. Anyways, so that is all we got for you guys on
We need some
6.
final words of wisdom from
from the captain.
the man here.
I'm just happy to be here. Honored to be here. Didn't know I was going to get so much spotlight, but I love it. Let's see.
Any words for David for saying you don't deserve to be in this
David,
league?
every year in the draft, it's like, why's Dave?
I know, we're like apparently rivals, and I didn't really realize this, but Sean's
that
like,
this
how are you
week?
feeling about playing David? Like, this is a really
you are
big
playing
deal.
David.
You need to.
And this is like a rivalry thing, but like David wanted me out of the league, and like I don't blame him. Sometimes I question myself. Like, I don't know how I'm still in this league, but I am doing my best. As you guys saw, I did a little bit of transition this week, some waiver wire work. So get ready.
Yeah, David calling him out. Every draft I've been in, it's like, why is Morgan still in there? Does Morgan still play fantasy football?
Is he here?
Does Morgan even know who that guy's, what team he's on?
I mean,
I usually draft it like an injured player too, or like somebody like that's just who I am. And like I drafted someone in the 12th round. Who was it?
Marquise Lee.
Yeah, I drafted him in the 12th round, and everyone's like, I can't believe this. I'm like, no one cares about the 12th round. It's the 12th round.
And then David's queued up to say his favorite saying.
Yeah.
Why is Morgan in the league? Every time.
Why is Morgan even in the league? It doesn't make any sense.
You can bank on that's what he's going to say every year.
I am excited to play David this week.
Yeah,
he beat me last time. Yeah.
Cooper Kupp's doing work for you, so hopefully you get
Out
the
of the
W
flex,
this week.
so-
Show David you deserve to be here.
Oh, yeah.
But it's always exciting to play David, so I'm excited. It's going to be a good week.
Yeah, so next week, kind of more of the same. We might be shifting a little bit earlier in the week, so you might get a little bit of waiver wire advice on it. So we'll see what goes on with that.
Yeah, and so subscribe on our pages here. Get us out there. Tell people that we know what in the world we're talking about when it comes to fantasy football. Thank you guys for listening and watching, and be ready for next week. Thank you, Scott.
Good work.
For joining me.